Good morning. The risk calculation and QDB update for the 8th of August, Tuesday. Yesterday was very much a roller coaster, and we can see how the herd are selling across yen. So they should be going to the upside, and we can see the yen bubble. It had come down. It looked like it might have come down here into buy, but of course the herd had sold these, and so price is probably going to go up to punish them. So slightly frustrating because I was doing okay on Friday selling these, and of course the herd also sold them as well. By them en masse selling, it pushes price higher. So I trimmed all my yen trades. I got out of gold with a profit, and I got out of my dollar pairs at a small loss yesterday. So it was a very tricky day, and see the Apple was falling a lot, and you think that would bring down Nasdaq, but that stayed fairly buoyant. We're only down a little bit, and then the other indices they pumped, and so tech followed the S&P and the Dow Jones. So quite a tricky one. Apple was down over 2% yesterday, so I thought it was going to lead to more risk off like it did on Friday, but it might have been just a blip. All right, so show you the indices. Actually, I'll show you the QDB scores quickly because I need to reset them anyway. So I was resetting them so many times yesterday. So it looks like dollar CAD maybe. It needs to think about this data. We'll do this in a bit. Oh, that's kind of annoying. So I'll just do this quickly. It's kind of annoying. Let's go to the live price and pivot data. So what it's doing, it needs to get this data, which is kind of annoying, but it might be interesting for you guys to see this. This is how we get the data. Oh, this is your pivots here, and this is your pivots here. I don't have to do this very often, by the way. It's just maybe once a fortnight, maybe. It does that sometimes, and then it'll have to do the open, the daily open, and the weekly open, and that's it. So it's a little bit archaic. It's quite an old-fashioned way to get data. There we go. So daily open and weekly open metrics. So therefore, the QDB scores are now going to load with any luck, and so we can just look at those quickly, and we can see dollar CAD is the strongest and Aussie USD is the weakest. We've already fallen quite a bit, and that's it. So what we're looking for is green up here, which is good, and red down here, so that's good. So maybe Aussie Kiwi could be a good one. Maybe the Euro Swiss had a big decrease in the scores. I'll show you the indices in gold, and I think what I might do, I might just take it easy today because yesterday was absolutely roller coaster and it wasn't fun at all. It was quite stressful, so I might just take it easy. And if it goes all roller coaster today, I'm going to take tomorrow off. But I'll do the roller. I'll do the bulletin. I was about to say I'll do the roller coaster. I'll do the bulletin tomorrow, but I just won't be trading tomorrow. If today is like bonkers, like it was yesterday. What's going on there? Oh, it's my RDP. All right. Okay. So gold, like I said in Discord, no trades while this is doing this. It's just way too sideways. I was trading it to the SLC. See, 1931. We bounced and it really went up. And I got out at a small profit. I didn't make much money, probably about enough money for a coffee, basically. Just had a tiny position. It was going okay, but then of course I added to my position and it went against me, so I nearly broke even. And there's that move there. But we can see how we had resistance. They went long, so price fell, hit it again. So it's a good idea to get the trading station if you can. It's very helpful. You just mark the crossovers. But like I say, no trades for me until CPI because of this, just sideways. Inevitably, they'll decide what they want to do, and it will really move once they've decided. DAX, let's look at DAX because that was moving when I was doing the bulletin. Right, so they're going long, but they're getting paid. All right, so we should be below 15,839. So that's obviously being very tricky. It might be that they're going to sell it potentially, and they're just basically playing chicken with the retail guys. So if they continue to go long, which should fall in speech marks, should. Okay, so this is naughty. We should be below 15,837. And S&P. And let's see. Oh, that's close. That's so close. Not a crossover yet, but maybe we'll get one. So if they go long, we should fall. So we'll have some support here because that's where they sold it. So you could theoretically go long with a stop at 4490 ish, and that should be a good support because they sold it, and then they sold it again. They might sell it again. Let's hope we come. Remember that the cross yen should be going higher, so that might be a clue. The DAX, yeah, US Verdi is just very, very choppy. It's horrible, isn't it? And so we made a sell, so we should be falling, but we'll have to wait and see. And so we should really be below 35375. So probably a very choppy day today, possibly tomorrow. And we've got that CPI on Thursday. It's going to be a bit bonkers. I'll show you the robot. And so we're undergoing a bit of drawdown on the Kiwi CAD, which I thought might happen because it's risk sensitive. If we go risk off, this should perform poorly. But if we go risk on, then it should be okay because the Kiwi, New Zealand dollar, is more sensitive to risk than the CAD. And so what will happen? This will be the last time we have any kind of spam. See all that repetition? We won't be having that anymore because we've got the duplication check in place. So if they result in losses, it's okay. If they result in wins, that's good. But what we needed was a duplication check in place, and this is proven why. Because if they go wrong, it can go bad, but when they go right, it's good. But we need to mitigate that risk of when it goes bad. So this is a contender for it going to stop loss and then being bad, basically. So we won't be getting this duplication anymore. You note that we've had the Kiwi yen long, which is undergoing a bit of drawdown, but it's based on the scores and the sentiment. So if this goes to stop loss, it just tells us that the herd got paid, and sometimes they can get paid for doing, but not just to use sentiment on its own, but to use the fundamentals and the technicals as well. And perhaps the Japanese government bonds are pumping, we'd have to check, wouldn't we? So be really careful. Long term, this is going to be okay. We are making a bit of profit, quite nice profit, but we just had to have that duplication check in place, and then we won't be getting that repetition. And that's it. So I'll wrap up now, and let's see how we go, I guess. And so I trimmed my dollar pairs yesterday because it was so awful, the price action. I could have been up a bit. So a little bit of patience, risk management, and you should be fine. There's the New Zealand yen, and then we're down. So that's a bit naughty. So they're getting paid quite a bit. And so I'll wrap up now, and I'll just see how today goes. If it goes pretty horrible and choppy and sideways nonsense, then I'll take tomorrow off. I'll be back on Thursday, I think.